Hi friends, and welcome to Crick Vidya's cricket podcast. And today we have a special episode planned for all BBL fans. And for this episode, we are joined by our friend Abhay, who is one part of Nordic Cricket Pundits and a keen follower of leagues all around the world. If you remember, he was with us for CPL as well, and now he's back for BBL. Hey Abhay, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. So I'm your all non-IPL franchise partner.
Yeah, we wanted to have you for IPL, but you were busy, so can't do much.
Yes,
And of
next
course,
time.
we have our Crick Vidya teammate Manju. Hey Manju.
Hi, Sunit.
Manju, over to you, and you can start asking our expert his opinions on various BBL topics.
Okay, expert. All right. Sure, we'll
Okay.
try.
Yeah. Yeah. So welcome, Abhay, and nice to have this chat about BBL at a time when a very gripping test match is going on in Sydney. So I'll just start off by asking you that now BBL franchise itself, the BBL as a corporately run franchise, reached its 10th edition, and it has changed from the state model to the city model. So post the pandemic, what are the differences you have found regarding the bio bubble and some other aspects which you may have noticed, which has had a bearing on the action on the field?
Hmm. I think that bio bubble thing, which is happening because of COVID in general, um, that's had an effect on everybody, so to say. Uh, Players have, it's had more effect on BBL because the players started going to England first, and then there was a test series in England, and then there was an IPL, and then it took its toll. So some players have had to, step out of BBL and say no to BBL at the last moment, which was hard for franchises. But BBL has taken a biggest hit, and probably all the tournaments happening after BBL would take even a bigger hit because this it is taking toll on the players, and we have to be understandable to the situation. It's not easy for players to stay in the bubble all the time and not have access to their families and so on.
So, Abhay, any noticeable changes in performance of players who have been continuing across these series?
Mm,
Would you say, or have there were quite a few players who were with IPL, especially from Afghanistan and then from West Indies as well, who had played CPL, IPL, and now playing BBL. So,
yes,
what is your brief take on their performance over these three leagues?
I'm thinking about that as you ask me, and I think the performances have been quite good. You, in fact, gave me a hint as well because the West Indies players, Jason Holder has been playing
Yeah,
constant
Yeah,
since the
right.
start. His performances have only peaked. He's just put in a stronger case for his selection in the T20 team.
yeah.
And if you see the Afghanistan stars, Nabi played a blinder yesterday, and
Yes.
also Rashid Khan is playing very very well. I mean, for Adelaide, he comes into groove. Not yet in CPL, but for IPL and for BBL, he's just been switched on. So I think the players have been quite responsible. Either they have pulled out,
Mm.
or they've really kept their the performance level they normally have.
And you might want to mention Puran also.
Oh
Right.
yes. Oh yes, he's a prized possession now for all teams he plays for. I don't think teams are going to let him go, any of the teams. So he's somebody for the next decade, I would say.
Yeah.
He's playing very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so regarding Jason Holder, like between this year, 2020 CPL and this BBL, so now would you have the same analysis regarding him, or you feel any franchise can bat him at 4 and 5 and use his all-round services, like as a
Yeah,
proper all-rounder?
I think Sunrisers should not let him go, especially for the next season. I think that's going to happen. I think it'll be a brain fade if they release him
Yeah.
for the before the next IPL. So Jason Holder has made a strong case for the Windies team also, even though they've got um, Russell and Pollard and this Allen in the middle. I feel that Holder will have a role to hold the innings, as we say many times. So, and with his bowling as well, he's making a difference. He's not express, but he's making sure he changes. He has a lot of variations and so on. So he was quite successful playing for Sydney Sixers for the limited time he played, and very successful as we all saw for Sunrisers. Sunrisers made a turnaround, a quick turnaround, um, and I think it was led by Holder, certainly making a case.
So we'll come to the various franchises. Regarding, we'll start with Melbourne Stars. Reason being, they've made two finals. They are full of stars, literally. They have a lot of established players in their ranks, and 2 years they made just the last step, and they have been left behind. So where do you see them heading at this point? We are somewhere around 30 games into the tournament.
Oh yes, a very interesting case, Manju. I think we can go on talking about Stars because they always recruit the best foreign players. They
Right.
always have the best Australian players available during BBL, but the results don't go their way. Couple of seasons back, I remember Renegades were losing the final, and somehow
Hmm.
there was a Stars just panicked and lost it to Renegades, and that was quite a deserving BBL for Stars, I would say. But they just don't cross the line. Somehow that reminds me of our discussions uh, during CPL with Guyana. Guyana also have an impressive final streak, but they don't cross the last hurdle. So Melbourne Stars this time also, if you see, they've got they've they had Bairstow, but Bairstow
Hmm.
pulled out, and then
Right.
they got Fletcher.
Hmm.
They
The
also
spice.
have Puran, the Spiceman. Yes, they've got Puran. So they've got two really good uh, foreign, superstars, and then they have Australian superstars, very regular uh, white ball cricketers, Zampa, Maxwell, and Stoinis.
Yeah.
So if I see the list here, they've got exciting players in Madison, Dunk, Seb Gotch. He played a blinder a couple of days back. Cartwright. So they've got all bases covered. And if you see their bowling, they've secured Haris Rauf again, the Pakistani fast bowler, and
Yeah.
they've got Coulter Nile, they've got Stanley K. Uh, I would say they've given up on some superstars as well. They've given up on Hanscom and I think a couple of others as well, because this has been the case
Hmm.
since last few seasons. They've always had the best cream, so to say, of players, but this time again they still are the strongest on paper. But yeah, so coming to their performance, I would say not performing so well. They would have expected Puran to cross them over the line for a couple of games. He's brought the thrill, he's brought the excitement, but not the results. So I would say, no, they won't be so happy, and they're lying in the middle. Probably lying in the middle might turn out to be good for them. So they work really hard to push themselves into the playoffs and ultimately win their first title. So no, right now it's not so good according to the players they have.
So, Abhay, any particular reason you can think of why they're not performing that well?
Yeah, I think like how three of us discussed during CPL also, it's so important that teams play as a team.
Hmm.
So uh, I think it's so often I could mix Hobart also right now. Um, in Hobart's case also and Melbourne Stars case also, they've secured all the players. But if somebody performs, the other team members let that person down.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think that's happening, and that's not happening in Sydney Thunder's case right now.
Hmm.
So it's the teamwork which is very crucial. If you see Sydney Thunder, um, they have good foreign players and good Australian players, but they are not superstars yet.
Hmm.
Right.
But they're all contributing together. So that's making the difference, I would say. More we see T20 cricket, more we are coming to this realization that it's so important that everybody chips in on the same day, no matter the contribution can be small.
Yeah. So the what do you make of the other Melbourne? Like it's led by Aaron Finch. So this is a guy who's outbatted Sachin and Yuvraj on the day of the MCC game, like few years back, and we know what he has in him. He's the ODI captain. But do you think tactically somewhere they are lacking, or it's just that as a unit they haven't fired yet?
No words. I think they did good acquisition. They've got a good spin bowler as well. I'm forgetting his name. He's got a unique action. A little bit of a Afridi and a little bit of a Kumble. And uh, Finch is there.
He's
They've
a
got,
left-handed bowls wrong.
yeah, I think so. Yes. Um, and Kumble, I'm saying Kumble. No. This Aaron Finch is there.
Imad
They've secured
Wasim is
Riley
captain
Rissu.
of that.
They've secured Riley Rissu as well,
Hmm.
who's there for the whole tournament. They've got Nabi, they've got Imad Wasim, and they've got Kane Richardson. So they've got players, but yeah, it's they've just got a rut from last couple of years. Like after they won the tournament, then from then onwards they've just had a poor run and they're not able to get rid of it. So actually, before this podcast, I just thought that we will laugh at one thing that both the red teams in
Hmm.
IPL as well as BBL, both the red teams are
Yeah.
struggling, and they both have the country's captain leading them,
Oh,
Kohli as well as Finch, and
Yes,
the red
Deepak.
teams are struggling, and there are no reasons why they're struggling. They've got everything to dominate, but no, they don't.
no, for Bangalore, we can kind of find the reasons in their bowling. Uh, Clearly, that they have not
Hmm.
been up to that mark as compared to other teams. But would you say the problem is bowling here also?
Um, yes, less of control in the middle overs. That's true. Um, but I cannot pinpoint on bowling. It's just that uh, they don't turn up. I would say batting has been the major letdown. So when Sean Marsh was in good form. Yeah, this another good acquisition by Renegades is Sean Marsh. Sean Marsh was in good form. He played well, but others did not support him at all.
Hmm.
So the Renegades, no, they've got a lot of thinking to do, and probably dismantling the whole team and probably build a new team around Richardson and Finch and Nabi would be a good option.
So I'm just getting ahead of our schedule discussion. But do you think these new three rules that have come, is it that some teams are utilizing it better and some are not, and these laggards are basically not able to use those things properly?
Yes, I personally get very excited when there are new rules because, um, for one, I am also guilty of really enjoying the batting. We always talk about having it fair for bowlers and batters, but I'm still this power surge, gives brings in a little bit of excitement that okay, more runs will be scored and uh, Puran and Maxwell's partnership. I think Kings 11 would be ruining that, but they got it for Melbourne Stars the other day when they took the surge and they, you know, made a lot of runs in a couple of overs. So yeah, these rules bring in a lot of excitement and they help uh, the, the tournament as well as the cricketing world learn something more. And if some of these rules are good, then they can always be taken forward in other leagues and maybe by ICC as well. So it brings a little bit of excitement. I am a pro for them. Uh, how they work this time? Um, I think Power Surge. Many franchises have failed because they're thinking that okay, we'll save 2 hours and when the time is right we
Hmm.
will accelerate, but it doesn't really happen all the time. So teams are learning, players are learning, the judgment is also involved when they should take it. I'm actually thinking that maybe they should take the power surge just after 4 overs if it's going good. But yeah, of course, most of the teams lose couple of wickets,
Hmm.
so they don't take the power surge just after the 4 overs. Regarding this substitution, again the same. Sometimes it's working. Like Brisbane Heat had Chris Lynn as a substitute, and he did quite well in that game. He came in and performed really well with the bat. So the substitute has also failed a little bit, and um, and succeeded. Few teams have succeeded with that. I'm not remembering that rule as such, but it's when the player changes at the 10th over.
Yeah.
X factor.
X factor, yes, yes. So there's X factor, there's power surge, and there's there's one more.
Bash boost.
Yeah, the
Bash
bash
boost.
boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so much in favor of the bash boost because um teams have to be, to get the bash boost, you have to be ahead of the other team at the halfway stage.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes teams are planning in a different way. They want to accelerate at the end, and that is turning out to be a little confusing for them. I suppose because they're planning to just to get this bash boost point, they have to change their natural strategy. It's bringing more discussions for sure, like I said, but no, that one is not so popular, I would say. Maybe it becomes a decider when the points table
Yeah, in
freeze.
the final stages, maybe that 1 point required and a win not required might change the strategy of some team.
Right. So that could be that's something I look forward to.
Hmm.
Otherwise, yes, the struggling teams can always, at least secure that. If you're down and out in a match, you can then focus on this 1 point. That's another positive point which could come out of that. So yes, it's a lot of learning for all these new rule changes, and let's see if something can be incorporated. I remember this X Factor thing was introduced by ICC also, but they didn't let it continue.
Super set rule was there. Yeah.
So let's move to the next team maybe, and we can talk about the Perth Scorchers.
Oh yes, Perth Scorchers, quite an exciting team. They always have this battery of fast bowlers
Hmm.
over the years. And when Justin Langer was their coach, they were winning almost all the tournaments. With Marsh Brothers and so many exciting fast bowlers, Andrew Tye and Richardson and so on. Um, uh, and This time they've started slow, but now they have started to peak. They're sort of coming in the middle of the tournament, like middle of the points table,
Hmm.
and they're peaking. So they've become a very dangerous side, and it could be difficult. They could create problems for Stars, um, Hobart, and also Adelaide Strikers,
Hmm.
because these three teams are going a little low, and Scorchers are running high. So um, I think the strengths of Scorchers is their top order. They've got a very solid top order with Monroe, um, Jason Roy, Josh Inglis, and there's one more I'm forgetting. Can you help me?
Mitch
There's
Marsh.
another. Mitch Marsh
Mitch
comes at the bottom.
bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. Um,
There's Hardy.
yeah. So uh, so they do have this a very nice um, uh, top order, I would say. Uh, Monroe is there, Josh Inglis is there, um, and Jason Roy is there. So they're really striking it big and making it difficult for the opposition bowlers. And the thing with them is either they will give you a good start, or they will um, they will save their wickets and accelerate at the right time. So with the power surge and these kind of rules, Perth Scorchers is a very dangerous team.
So are you backing them to actually go from 7 to a lot higher now?
I would say so. I would say so. Yes, that player's name is Liam Livingston. He's
Oh.
also very strong, and he's been giving good starts to Scorchers. So yeah, I'm backing them, Sunit. I would say that they should qualify, If something horrible doesn't happen with them, it's always hard to predict in T20. But you talk about momentum, and momentum is certainly with them now.
So Kings 11 kind of a case,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Kings 11 actually, they were like renegades doing well. They were, their case was very strange, and just when it looked good for them,
Hmm.
they
Full
they
prospect.
lost their fuel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's move to the next team. So maybe we'll talk about Brisbane now. So,
Sure,
what's
sure.
your view
Very
on their performance till now and the team?
Brisbane again. Again the same point. They've had superstars in the past, but this time they've given up on several. I would say. I'm not remembering who all they've given up on, but they've given up on Cutting at least. And Cutting is a very big T20 superstar as far as Bash is concerned. Of course, we will, from IPL perspective, we will remember that final where
Yeah,
he doomed RCB.
Yeah.
But
right.
Cutting is a good player and he's playing so well for Sydney Thunder. So they've kind of Brisbane have stuck to um, Chris Lynn. They wanted to stick with Tom Banton and Morne Morkel. They got Morne Morkel this year, but Morne
As an
Morkel
Australian,
has,
uh,
yeah, as an Australian.
as an as an Australian.
Yeah. So they couldn't stick with him. Like he's got injured, and Tom Banton, because of bubble issues, did not had to pull out. So suddenly they were without their superstars. They were thinking, to be with, but Jimmy Pearson led them very well, and Lynn got injured. For many matches,
Hmm.
Chris Lynn had got injured. So Jimmy Pearson took over as a captain, and he did a decent job. Uh, Players came in together, and um, I think they're no superstars as such, but they've given good performances. And now, last couple of matches when Lynn has come back, he's really playing as their best player and as their captain. So Brisbane has been one of the exciting teams with AB de Villiers, Lynn, Brendan McCullum over the past, but this time they're playing little different. Lynn is playing the way he does, but the others are just trying to contribute. They lost couple of very close matches also. I maybe that will matter in the
Mhm.
end because they don't have such a very strong team. Uh, Maybe when the Test series gets over, they'll get a couple of players. But um, Brisbane are punching above their weight, but not sure if they can qualify.
Okay. Any comment on Mujib?
Oh yeah, you reminded me of Mujib. Uh, he's started doing well for Brisbane. He's been one of the reasons why Brisbane are doing well. But kind of Mujib uh, is becoming easy to hit or is becoming more predictable now. So he'd also have to really like Nabi and Rashid Khan, the way they have, been consistent,
Hmm.
and teams haven't been able to, stop thinking about them or stop playing them. Similarly, Mujib also has to put some more things in his armory to continue being good. But yeah, couple of matches have gone his way. I think he's at the start he was not doing so well, but now he's become the strike baller again.
Also, the pitches actually are not a little more batting friendly. So if you compare with CPL,
Yeah,
that had a lot of spin friendly wickets. So maybe the pitches are now slowing down, and as the tournament progresses, he might become much more effective.
right. And it also I've been thinking about the World Cup. No, the World Cup did not happen in Australia. Yes,
Hmm. Yeah.
I thought the World Cup was going to happen in Australia, but no, it's not going to be in
And a
Australia.
slightly offbeat question. That is like there is a ICC proposal for getting T20 into Los Angeles 2028, the Olympics. So you feel that these leagues will help that initiative, or you feel it is
Yes.
actually deteriorate? Because there's a lot of debate between purists and league followers as to
Yeah.
which is the good. And whereas even like someone like Rahul Dravid who has 10,000 plus runs in Test, he has said we should promote T20 to go into the Olympics. the Olympics, so that there is a medal opportunity for countries like India or all the cricket playing nations.
Right. I think it's a good idea. Um, I just think that maybe T10 is the better one to start with. Uh, but
Right.
it's a good idea, and of course we are all test match lovers. But we like this. We like how T20 helps promote cricket,
Hmm.
and ultimately you get test players also out of T20 cricket. Now we're realizing so many of uh, I was having a discussion on Twitter with somebody yesterday, and so many of cricketers who were branded as T20 specialists have actually
Yeah.
become test match regulars. So now this notion, which was my notion as well, that players who are good in T20 might not suit test cricket, is not correct, because if you see Bumrah, Pandya, and even Jadeja,
Yeah.
we were remembering
Hmm.
yesterday that Jadeja was also branded as a Rajasthan Royals
Rajasthan
all-rounder,
Royals.
and
Right.
the way he
Rockstar.
Dhoni gave him chances in T20 cricket, Dhoni faced a lot of slack
Hmm.
Yeah.
for backing Jadeja, and then Dhoni also promoted him in Test cricket, and he did well. Now he is one of our best bets in all formats after so many years. So it's just that T20 cricket will also give good cricketers who could play Test cricket, and important that cricket goes to Olympics, so we have more friends to talk to.
Right. So, coming to the defending champions, Sydney Sixers. So, do you feel this year they have been below par, or they are pulling along? Because they have Steve O'Keefe and the tried and tested names. Nathan Lyon is not
Yeah.
available; he's gone for test duty. There's Enriquez and Dan Christian is there. So, you feel they can make a case this time?
Actually, no, I think Sydney Sixers are not doing so well, though they've got some victories over the belt. But it's uh, um, it's not looking so good for them, I would say. One reason being uh, Carlos Brathwaite, as two of you would also notice, he's just losing. Like, he's lost his places in the Windies team. He's a player available for all franchises because he's not playing international cricket. And also for CPL, he was not. Um, he was playing for the Jamaica team, but he was not so successful playing for them also. So he's not able to really, bring that ammunition to Sixers like the way they would want to. Holder played just few games, and he made the difference. Um, I think Sixers are missing Henriques. I'm not sure what has happened to him, but he's injured probably. He was playing the T20 series against India. He's got
No, they
injured,
said
I
that
suppose.
whether he's a part of a reserves, I don't know, because there was an update that he's running drinks for the test team. So is he there in the reserves? I think.
Could be that issue. Could be that issue. They're missing Henriques. Henriques has been their stable captain for so many years, and he can bowl. He can bat very responsibly. The
Hmm.
best part about Henriques is he has different gears. They're missing Henriques a lot. Daniel Hughes has played well. Jordan Silk also plays some good innings, but and yeah, they would expect more from Joshua Philippe. So Mitchell Stark and Nathan Lyon are supposed to come back, so maybe they make a difference at the end. Uh, but otherwise, it's uh, it's they're blowing a little hot and cold. Let's see how it goes. The foreign sports, as usual, are important, and Brathwaite is wasting that, I would say.
Mhm. So maybe they can try somebody else. And I think for all teams, only these test players after this series ends. So a lot of changes in performance you can expect that all these regular players will join their respective franchises. So it will
Right.
be interesting how
Yes,
suddenly.
yes.
Uh,
One very Yeah, one one very crucial aspect of this BBL is that there are so many players coming in at the start, going out in the middle, and coming back at the later half. So the teams who really manage this aspect of, you know, players coming in and going, the best might end up winning, or the team which is least affected by this aspect might end up winning the league. That's one part I'm observing and which is affecting this BBL a lot.
So finally, across the ditch, we go to Hobart Hurricanes. So it is a Tassie captain leading Australia, but this franchise has had ups and downs. So this time now they have find themselves close to the top, third, fourth.
Yeah,
You see that he commentates in another format, and now he is playing in this franchise. So how do you see the addition of
yeah,
Botha to? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Both are could be our favorite discussion topic, yours and mine. Um, I think they've got him as an experienced backroom staff. They're they're using him as a sub, as the X factor sometimes, and some
Sometimes.
matches he's playing and some matches he's not playing. So I think he's a good guy to have, I would say, uh, from the strategy perspective, or helping the players around. I would say he's also become Islamabad United's head coach,
Yeah.
uh,
Right. Coach.
and Hobart, I would say, yes, we were discussing yesterday also that Lami Chane and Kimo Paul from
Yeah.
Ponting's
Keep up all from
Delhi
Sydney.
Capitals,
Hmm.
reserve players have turned up for his state Hobart now,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
Kimo Paul, another notable person, just like Brathwaite, is falling under the radar. He's not. He didn't get any chances for Delhi Capitals, so we were thinking at the IPL, we were thinking that, oh, why is he not getting chances? They gave chances to Sams,
Yeah.
and kind of that makes sense now. It makes sense that Kimo Paul hasn't been in good form. He's not a very big tonker of the ball,
Hmm.
so you can't rely on him at number 6-7 as a batter. He's a good accumulator, but you don't need those at number 6-7. And his bowling also, the variations, people are finding it out. So couple of matches Hobart lost in between. I think Kimo Paul, they expected a lot from him, and they couldn't get it. Again, a team which is not, from for me, they're playing better, as you said, but not playing as a team like a Sydney Thunder are doing. So uh, they've got this acquisition in um, Malan, the best T20 player right now. That's good. He's playing well. Not able to use the surge very well. When the surge comes, Malan is also getting confused and not able to really, do justice, and not able to accelerate that much.
Probably a
Probably,
slow surge. Yeah, slow surger, Malan.
yeah, slow
Yeah.
surger. Yes. So probably Malan is somebody um who's not able to do as well as he would like to. The way he had his form while playing for England, it's not the same. Or the bowlers are finding him out as well now. They've got Darcy Short. His left arm Chinaman is very, very useful. They've got Ben McDermott, who's in good form. He's been in a good form in last few editions,
So
and he's brought
regards to
difference
spin
to.
uh, with regards to spin tactics, like do you feel each team is going for one wrist spinner or an Afghan overseas, and they are having one defensive spinner? Because like that day I saw Adelaide strikers using Renshaw from round the wicket. So is it a thing in BBL? Because we never Krishnappa Gautam bowled an over in IPL and the rest is history. So disaster. So but they are able to not able to hit them. Is there some reason in the pitch or something?
I think it's the Australian local players who are not used to so much of spin. I think that's the thing, because if you bring a Krishnappa Gautam in within IPL, um, uh, Shreyas Iyer would really, you make amends out of that. And also other Indian local batsmen, if you see, who are not playing for the regular Indian side, they can dominate spinners. But it's not the same case with the Australian players. So I think that's still there, because naturally they're used to playing fast bowlers. So even though that has changed a lot because of T20 cricket and players playing everywhere, playing in India, so many Australian local players also play in India during IPL. So it's changing, but the inherent thing still remains the same, and that's why they spin is a good factor in BBL. And you're right, the
So
Afghan
we come to,
spinners, everybody's.
yeah, so everywhere, yeah. So similarly now in Sydney Thunder, the overseas contingent is doing well. Like the Sam Billings, Alex Hales, and even Adam Milne in one game did well. So this year, do you feel Sydney Thunder is looking good?
Yes, yes, they're looking very good. And a crucial point for them is that they don't have uh, superstars in their team. If you see, um, yeah, you mentioned Milne. Milne is not so established because of injuries. He's not been able to do so well. So he's not an established superstar for New Zealand, I would say. They've got you said Alex Hales. Alex Hales has got his own problems, though he is very talented, but he's not been able to do as much as he could have for England. And similarly for Billings as well, because England are so gifted right now. So Billings has started finding his place in the team. But I think if England starts to make its strongest 11, Billings will not be part of it. So, so these three players you mentioned are not yet superstars. And if you see the Australian contingent as well, Callum Ferguson, he's almost at the end of his career. He's not been able to make a Australian career. You've got Khawaja, who's also been good, but I don't think anybody would say he's justified what he could have for Australia, though he's played some good innings in Test cricket and so on. Cutting again, somebody an underachiever overall. Alex Ross, Sams is somebody who could be a superstar in future. So it's a team full of uh, you know uh, players who can do well, but they're not superstars like Stars and Hobart and so on, and they're doing better than everybody.
And since you mentioned Sam's, I'll just ask you this question related to Sam's and death bowling. So, like, not only Sam's, there is a lot of people having a pattern of not using Yorkers too often. Like, death bowling is evolving. So, many Australians and BBL, they believe in this non Yorker pattern. They bowl the ball into the pitch, slower bouncers, slower balls, and quicker ones. So, you think it will work in the long run, or it is working for the teams, or it can have a flip side as well? What do you feel?
Mhm. Um, Not very sure about this one. I think it's just that one ball becomes too predictable. Teams start going towards the other things. In UAE also we saw that Yorker was not the go-to ball. Probably it had to do with the UAE pitches during the IPL. Um, it's just that the bowlers want to vary their pace, vary their line and lengths. Um, Yorker still is a very there's nothing like a Yorker, would still say, but probably bowlers don't want to be so predictable. And for somebody like a Sam's, uh, this thing you mentioned suits more to just bang the ball in and make it do something with the pace he has. It's better. That's one of the reasons I recommend Ricky Ponting, that he got in Sam's. Very good choice for Delhi Capitals, though it did not work out.
So finally, we come to Rashid 11, खुद को champ समझते हो. So Adelaide strikers. So they are very good at defending scores, thanks to Rashid, of course. And it's like if the team adopts an approach that it's only a 16 over game and you want to play out Rashid, that is not happening. So what do you believe should be the strategy for the other franchises against Adelaide strikers? And then we'll
Um,
discuss the franchise, obviously.
yes. Um,
So how do you attack?
Probably
Because that day I don't remember the batsman in the Renegades. They tried to attack him, but still they gave him wickets. So it didn't work out again.
right. I think this reminds me of something. Yesterday he was attacked by Nabi, and if you remember our discussion during CPL, we discussed that just to go one up against Rashid, you need Nabi in the other side, which does not happen in IPL. So yeah, Rashid is a superstar, and you can just see how he bats, how he fields, how he bowls. He's just not going to give anything to the opposition. Yes, he can have an off day, but more often than not, because of his spirit, I think he comes one better than the opponent. So teams just have to play him out. And now there are a lot of chinks in for other, in the armory of Adelaide strikers and Alex Carey's team, because the other bowlers are not supporting Rashid that much. Siddle has gone a little off color. Agar started very well, but now he's also not so threatening. He doesn't look so threatening, and I don't see them so strong as a bowling attack. They'll use Rashid as a attacking option, so they'd want to score a lot of runs. They'd want to score a lot of runs so that they're able to defend well and use Rashid as a strike bowler when they have a lot to defend.
So those were all the franchises. And would you like to comment on the expansion? Like in the middle, there was a news a few years back that they are going to acquire Gold Coast and Canberra teams, like increase the cities of the Big Bash. So do you feel that it will be a logistic problem? Obviously, now there has been COVID and the scenario has changed. So obviously, there will be a lot of cutting down. So do you think it will work to have more teams, like, or like we can have one team per city, like two Sydneys and two Melbournes. So it's good for the fans. They can cheer for both.
Yeah. Yes. So if it's about expanding the game, I think I'm all for it. Making the tournaments longer, not so sure. I really have to see. In the IPL also we're talking about 10 teams. Here also we're talking about expansion. Um, Probably the boards are going to do it now for the financial aspect. They've lost a lot of money last 1 year due to COVID, and they want to recover. So these more games will be more viewing. So the T20 leagues are going to be a lot, and they're going to expand a lot last next 1 year. Good for the game in terms of if it can bring more audience, but more T20 cricket, no, I would say we need a balance. You need a lot of Test cricket also. We are kids from the 90s generation as well, so we would like to see Test cricket as well.
So just finally, as a continuation to the last question, should we? Is it good to add two teams from New Zealand, like how the talk was earlier? And do you feel 61 games is too long, or you want it shorter?
Wanted shorter, wanted shorter.
This
I think this tournament has stretched a lot already, and there's a big phase coming in again. So probably the IPL was a bit exciting because there were so many close games.
Hmm.
BBL is not that exciting because though we as fans we watch it from different aspects, team formations and how players are doing. We have different interests, so we watch BBL. But IPL had so many close games, and with Kings 11 Punjab also dismantling the table, the points table, it became very very interesting. Um, so I would say that it's a little long. It's a little long. BBL, it at least seems long. If there were more exciting matches, we would have enjoyed a bit more. But that's not the case as of now. With Perth doing well, they're bringing the excitement. So I should not be so unfair. Also, regarding New Zealand, I'll be very happy if that happens because I think New Zealand they've had such good captains in Hesson, McCullum, now Williamson, and their new coach also seems good. After that Ross Taylor period, uh, they've done so well that they're getting a lot of new players like Jamieson now, and Corey Anderson was also a very big revelation, though he couldn't really sustain, and now has gone to US. Um, um, Nisham and so many other players they've unearthed, and if BBL can collaborate with New Zealand, I'm sure their players will also get more motivation, New Zealand players, and some players could become world beaters, I would say. So New Zealand has great. It's a very small population compared to other countries, but still they bring in a lot of good players. And if those players can get this BBL tag and they can play for BBL sides, uh, it's good for world cricket, I would say. Because right now nobody's watching Auckland Aces that much as I see. Some fans would be, but people are watching BBL more, so they get more recognition.
So would you want New Zealand players available for all teams, or would you say that two teams from New Zealand come and play BBL?
Hmm. Uh, would say two teams. Let the Australian New Zealand rivalry,
Yeah,
this this trans Tasmanian rivalry,
yeah.
that should remain. So I think your idea of probably that's doing rounds as well. That having these two teams from New Zealand would make it more exciting.
So finally, I think we'll end with your probably predictions of how you think the points table will finally end.
Right. I would say Thunder should make it.
Hmm.
Um, Hobart and Stars, I would want them to make it.
Hmm.
We were discussing yesterday that we like those teams, uh, but
Right.
yeah, they've got things to sort out. And what better moment than the fag end of the tournament? So these three teams, I would say, should qualify, and then I would say Scorchers should also qualify, and Sixers.
Okay.
So Heat and Strikers I'm eliminating, but let's see. It's five uh, in BBL. The prediction can go worse because you have five teams qualifying.
Yeah. And also, your most memorable batting and bowling performance up till now.
Right. So uh, the best one was this when Puran and
Yeah.
Maxwell created that blitzkrieg,
Hmm.
and they really used the power surge. That moment was really good because yeah, we are all in Kings 11 fans as well. So kind of it was a deja vu that probably Kings 11 was making that combination during the whole IPL and it didn't work out, but it worked out later for Stars. So that would be the case. And bowling performance, I think couple of uh, really good spells by. I'm actually thinking. I'm thinking between Holder and Rashid Khan, but I think Andrew Tye's performance recently really impressed, and I was really happy because he's also been a bit off color within
Yeah.
the IPL, and also he doesn't have a spot in the Australian side. So I was very happy at that moment. I remember that he's done well, and probably he was bowling well, bowling straight, knocking the batsman over. So that was good to see.
And who do you back to win it now?
Um, though it's not my favorite franchise, Thunder. Um, but I would say that it'll be nice if they win, especially with that point that no superstars, but all good players come together and make the team win. So I would like, and I'd like Callum Ferguson to lift the trophy.
Oh, nice. So great. I think we'll end it here. Thank you, Abhay, for giving our fans a good perspective about BBL, and especially those who would want to follow it, let's say after the test match ends. This could be a good starting point. They can understand how teams are performing, and then it helps them follow the BBL better. So great. And thanks, Manju, as well. Uh, so we look forward to having you again. We'll probably try to do something more regular for BBL, and you following it so regularly actually helps us. So great.
Absolutely.
So
Crick Vidya.
yeah, thank you, Abhay, and
Yeah.
hope to see you again.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.